Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's staying well and safe. I'm Felicity. I work within the UNSW Health Promotions Unit, which organises the annual SEXtember Festival. I begin today by acknowledging the Darug people, the traditional custodians of the land on which I'm joining this call from today, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. I extend that respect to Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples here today. Additionally, we invite you to drop a note in the chat regarding where you're joining the call from today. A staple of this festival is the Pleasure and Danger panel series, which is facilitated by Sujit Kumar, and which aims to facilitate casual, open, honest, and reflexive discussions on the sticky issues of sex and sexuality. This is the fourth time Pleasure and Danger has been running, and our theme today is sports, wellness, and meaning. Just before we start, the Health Promotions Unit would like to give thanks to our SEXtember sponsors that make this event possible. Thanks to Bliss, we are lucky to have a prize of an Aussie sex toy, lube, and condoms for a lucky audience member who engages with the event by asking questions. It's our pleasure to welcome back Sujit to facilitate this event. Sujit just submitted his PhD through the Centre for Social Research in Health at UNSW. His academic background is in race, sexuality, religion, human rights, and communications, and his research over the past decade has focused on sexuality, citizenship, and belonging. Sujit has worked in diversity and inclusion initiatives in Singapore, Boston, and Sydney, and is currently a researcher and educator at various universities in Australia. With that, I'll pass over to Sujit to start the event.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sujit, and I'm so excited to be the moderator for tonight's Pleasure and Danger panel, where our panelists will reflect on the personal engagements with diverse forms of sport and what this means for them in terms of their identity, well-being, and belonging. Every time I host this event, I'm always filled with gratitude and awe. There's a lot of love in this room, and our panelists do amazing things and speak about their lives with such depth, vulnerability, and authenticity. Some of the things our panelists will be sharing today might be deeply personal to them, so be kind and put in your questions and comments in the chat box or the Q&A section. I'll introduce you to tonight's panelists. Going first is Adam Clayton. Adam works as an IT superhero at Western Sydney University's careers teams by day and is a hip hop and burlesque dancer by night. He also works on his mental and physical fitness by going to the gym and playing video games. A lot of his motivation behind his wellness journey comes from his desire to break his comfort zones and enhance his self-confidence and body image. Following Adam is Elisa Liam, who is a personal trainer and group fitness instructor. She loves sharing her passion for exercise by being involved in the UNSW Fitness and Aquatic Center community, where she is a gym trainer. She's been active in gym training, competitive athletics, and cross-country running for 6 years. She's currently studying commerce and media at UNSW Sydney and hopes to inspire more individuals into leading a rewarding, healthy lifestyle. Kat Williams enjoys multiple team sports, including volleyball, badminton, and basketball, with volleyball being her main sport of interest. She's completing her degree in social work at UNSW Sydney and hopes to one day become a mental health social worker. She's half Australian and Malaysian and was born and raised in Thailand. Lucky last, we have Douglas Magellani and Paul Renokiary. Doug is a queer American-born Australian who works as an advertising coordinator. He loves pole fitness, swimming, walking, writing, and painting, and enjoys looking for beauty in the small and unnoticed. He's a historian by training and a budding horticulturalist, and holds a Master of Journalism and Communications through UNSW Sydney. Paul, who is the fellow next to him, is an investment analyst and an active member of the Tamarama Surf Life Saving Club, Wet Ones LGBTQI Swimming Club, and Bondi Running and Triathlon, or BRAT. To unwind, he enjoys cooking and traveling. Paul graduated from UNSW Sydney in 2006 with a degree in commerce and science, majoring in actuarial science and actuarial studies and mathematics. So Adam, ready when you are.
Great, thank you. Let me just share my screen. All right. So can I first just say that it's actually really weird for me to be on the other side of a Zoom call, because normally I'm the person that sits in the background in the tech support. So to be on this side as a panelist is a very interesting experience. But I'll start off with saying, hi, I'm Adam Clayton. I'm a 34-year-old gay male from Sydney. I'm also a Leo for all of us astrology fans out there. But professionally, I consider myself to be a bit of a nerd, but others consider me to be an IT guru. I play with a lot of technology, and I have also ventured into my second degree in IT, with my first one being HR. My hobbies include being the world's greatest Pokemon trainer, working out where I can, considering COVID and the fact that it's super sad that all the gyms are closed right now, but also dancing to a whole range of beats. But I never used to be this confident. Confidence is actually something that is linked to my fitness journey. So let's wind the clock back a little. To be honest, the impacts of porn, dating sites, and advertising had a huge impact on my identity. I, at the time, was pretty much a twink, a 6 foot, 50 kilo skinny guy who would eat my own share of food and someone else's and never put any weight on. I felt like the only way in which I could make it in the gay world was that I needed to be a muscle daddy, go boy dancer. My sexuality wasn't explored in full detail either, with me hiding my desires in a book, never talking about it with anybody, with the fears that I would be some sort of outsider. Interestingly enough, when I was looking at the images to put this together, I came across this image, which is actually being used in a BBC article about how being a gay man can make your body issues worse. So what a fitting story for the context. So I start on my fitness journey. I signed up to a gym because I longed to be desired. I wanted to be desired by gay men who fantasize about porn stars. I spent the first couple of my years glued to the walls of the gym, like a person who watches their friends dancing in a bar. I always picked the furthest cardio equipment from the gym crowds. I would make sure that if I used any equipment, any of the machines, I would never, ever step foot in the free weight zone. That was the kingdom of the muscle man. I often thought, oh gosh, these muscle men are so buff and it's intimidating to be around. I don't even really know what I'm doing. I don't want to embarrass myself in front of them. But if I wanted to be like them, I needed to do something. So I finally got the courage and signed up to my first PT. I remember the initial conversation I had with him. He asked, so what's your goals for the gym? And I remember sheepishly saying, I want to have a porn star body. Thinking back now, I wonder how many of us actually wanted to say that, but said something else. This was the first best decision I have ever made. We worked together to build on my confidence and knowledge around the gym equipment, and I even introduced me to the dreaded land of the muscle man, the free weight zone. I started to notice a shift in my process, in my thoughts. People aren't going to be looking at me. They're too busy looking at themselves. And trust me, this couldn't be truer. The number of times I've seen people in the gym pull up their shirt to look at their amazing washboard abs is insane. But good on them because they've worked hard for this. So I defeated my first confidence demon in the gym and I started to hunger for more. Where can I improve next? I started to watch a whole lot of dance videos. And I remember spending hours on the train or on the bed at home being mesmerized by the fluidity of the dances. And this being one of my favorite dances, both for the song, which is Dance to This by Troye Sivan, but also, damn, look at those dances. They are so hot. This was around the time that I started a new chapter in my life. The chapter of no regrets. I was lonely. I hated cardio so much, even if the thing was stationary, if it was using the treadmill or using the stationary bike or using the rower, I hated it. And so this was the first time that I started my next fitness venture, dancing. I looked around at the venues in all the local area to see if anything was tailored to adults. My dancing at the time was limited to dancing on the top of boomboxes at Stonewall, drinking with more drinks in my hand than I could count. And I didn't have the moves that some of the dance mums bred through the dance industry. That's when I stumbled across a little dance studio in the Hills District. And I saw the casual classes were $20. And the first thing I thought was, what a bargain. I rocked up to the dance studio feeling like a kid on the first day of school, nervous as anything. So here I was, getting myself out there, getting my body moving. Little did I know, at the point of signing up, that there was 2 weeks until the performance term would start. The people that I met there were so welcoming and so encouraging that to give the concert a go. So I took up the challenge, and this is the most challenging thing I've done to date. For 15 weeks, I danced and I danced and I danced, making this unco body move with purpose and with style to Will Smith. Yes, I stuffed up a lot, but that's all part of the fun. Then the dance teacher choreographed the last piece of the dance, singled out the 3 guys in the group to do a small solo piece to a particular verse in a Backstreet Boys song, Backstreet Boys Everybody. I was fortunate enough, let's go with fortunate, enough to be assigned the line, "Am I sexual?" And I remember thinking, girl, I am anything but sexual right now. I don't even think you picked the right person. But the new dance family that welcomed me with their warm embrace encouraged me to do it, to release my inner sexual beast. I think that was the day I developed a new thought about myself. If I can dance in front of anyone, if I can dance in front of a crowd and have fun and be silly, I can do anything. For 14 weeks have passed and it's performance night, the night of nights. The hip hop crew was assigned one of the final acts of the night. And this gave me ample time to see what this whole concert business was about. As the intermission came, so did the butterflies that lived in my stomach, pressing their tiny, tiny little feet all over my poor bladder. And this only intensified as the night continued. We're now 2 performances before the hip hop crew was on stage, and we're behind the curtains on the stage, and I can hear the crowd and they're just roaring, and then slowly the butterflies came in again and they drowned out the sound of the crowd. And I remember just them bear hugging my bladder to a point where I said, why do I need to pee right now? The lights dimmed. It was our turn on the stage. I remember walking on there, thinking I'm going to see hundreds and thousands of faces watching me, but not a noticeable face in sight. The music started. Those 3 minutes flew past in the blink of an eye, and it was all over. And the crowd was screaming to us. And I remember someone calling my name, and I had no idea who they were, but it turns out it was one of my friends who came to support me the night. And just like that, the butterflies vanished, replaced with a high fueled by adrenaline and endorphins. That night was the pinnacle of my life. In 3 minutes, I transformed from this shy, conservative, unsexy man who quietly identified as gay to an expressive, liberated, and more open individual. I was open with my sexuality with people, but most importantly with myself. And I honestly love my dance crew. I love each and every single one of them, because without them, I wouldn't be the person I am today. This has allowed me to participate in a whole range of activities that I would not have otherwise done. I participated in Mardi Gras twice for Western Sydney Uni, allowing me to uniquely be me in front of hundreds and thousands of people, and the best night I've possibly had surrounded by beautiful friends. I'm working to help build a bridge of connectedness with so many of us out there struggling through an LGBTQIA plus charity. But more importantly, fitness has changed my mental health. I am no longer working out to be a porn star, though I still jokingly say that I'm working out to be the world's best go-go boy. Instead, my relationship with myself and with other people has drastically changed as a result. If there is a takeaway from this, all I want to say is there is no right or wrong reason to get into fitness. There's just a first step. Take a chance. You might find out it's something that you really enjoy, and it's changed my life. I am so grateful that I took the chance for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Adam. Just take a look at the chat box. There's so much love for you from the audience. Next, we have Elisa.
Yep. Thank you, Adam, for for sharing your speech. Really enjoyed it. I'll just share my screen. And yeah, okay. So today I'm very excited to be speaking to you today about my personal engagement with fitness and well-being. So as Sue just mentioned, I'm an instructor at the UNSW gym. It's the best gym in the Southern Hemisphere. So if you don't have a membership there, that is the place to go. And this is a little introduction, I guess, to who I am. So personal trainer, group fitness instructor, and also studying marketing and media right now. So in the future, hoping to do some marketing for a gym, or like just to promote people to exercise more and encourage people to get into fitness. But you may be wondering, how did fitness have such a big impact on me that I wanted to go into the industry for work? And when I tell people, as Adam said before, that, fitness changed me forever, this is what they usually think. So the photo on the right is definitely not Photoshop. That is 100% me. But most people think fitness is really like physical, you go to the gym, you get buff, you become a gym bro, become like a bodybuilder. And I'm sure we've all had that experience of walking into the gym and feeling very intimidated by the huge guys with the big biceps, and feeling like, oh my goodness, what am I doing here? Is this what personal training, is this what fitness is all about? And I guess it's quite a common misconception. So I'd like to show you how fitness actually changed me. It was all on the inside. It's really, fitness is not such a physical thing as it is about boosting your confidence. It's about feeling good about yourself. So I think I used to be very shy. I used to be very scared to try new things. But once you start doing something that you have total control over, you're the only one who makes yourself go to the gym, who makes yourself work out. You start to see the progress and you start to understand, I can do this. I'm the one who's putting in the work. I'm the one who's seeing these results. If I can do this, I can do anything. And it applies to a lot of other aspects of your life as well. So that's why I became a trainer myself, to help people also feel that way and have the same type of experience. I guess journey started when I was 12 and I joined my local athletics club. So as a kid, I always felt a bit out of place, a bit awkward. But the first place that I really felt a sense of community, I guess, is at my local athletics club. So yeah, in the two photos, that's me and my friends holding the trophies. I don't think we even won a race. It was just for participating and for being part of the club. And looking back, when I reflect on it, I really think I still remember feeling so genuinely happy and really grateful to be in a place where people can be so welcoming and experience exercise together. So that's the first time I can think of when fitness made a really big impact on me, because I think with a lot of people, it's not just falling in love with the actual workout, with the actual exercise. It's about also the people who are there with you and getting to grow as a person. So yeah, when I look at that, it holds quite a special place in my heart. So that was back in high school, and I wanted to share like the feeling of having exercise as a place where you can have someone else there to be with you and to experience all of it with you. So I did my personal training certification, and I remember when I was doing a work placement there was a trainer there called Alexandra, and I still remember she pulled me aside and then she told me, you know, people don't need a personal trainer. People know how to work out, but they just need someone there to speak to. They just need someone there to talk to. And that's the mission of all like trainers and instructors. It's just to be there for someone and to have the sense of like community and to belong to a place and know that there's other people there to back you up and support you. So yeah, she made me realize like the heart of fitness is joy. And that's what like all trainers are here to help people discover. And I remember reading a book by Paulo Coelho, I think that's how you pronounce his name, The Alchemist. And he had this quote: "The only job that you have in life is to recognize and honor your personal legend." And I think that's how I found my own like personal legend, or what I want to spend the rest of my life doing, is helping people to feel good about themselves through exercise. And I'm going to share some science because we love some maths and some scientific reasoning. And also to prove that the link between exercise and happiness is not just me making it up. There's actual science behind this. So the first thing is chemicals. After you hit the gym or you do any exercise, you release dopamine, endorphins, and all these other chemicals that make you feel good. And that's why we always feel so happy after we work out. And after you exercise regularly, like the happiness level in your brain, the serotonin level, it's going to increase in the long term. That's facts. I will 100% vouch for this. And second of all, exercise is literally better than weed. And that is, again, facts once again, because it mimics the same brain chemicals. Even better, it's not illegal. So that is quite a strong selling point for exercise, I think. And third of all, we should take a moment to appreciate like social sport and group fitness. You know, like, you know, you smile, I smile, everyone's smiling, and we all smile and get sweaty together. You know, training your math muscles is just as important as training your biceps. Personally, like when I teach group fitness, I can't like help but smile because it's so nice to be like around people who are also around like, you know, they want to achieve their fitness goals together, and everyone's super motivated and wants to work on themselves. So I'm like very, very grateful to share that like in the UNSW gym. And yeah, I highly recommend you join me and Sujith in our group fitness classes. I expect to see you all in the class after we have this talk. And lastly, running or walking for just a tiny part of your day has been proven to reduce depression by 26%. So 26% is huge. And that also explains why so many people take, you know, those lockdown walks. I see you. I know we all do it, going out for the little walk during our quarantine. That has been proven to alleviate depression. So that there was a lot of science. There was a lot of statistics there. It's a lot of advanced, complex, like mathematical stuff. So I finally boiled all this down after doing lots of accounting, lots of advanced formulas, and I found one final formula to end it all. Exercise equals happy. And that's what I really want you to take away from this talk. We're very, very blessed as humans to be able to move and have such a simple answer to happiness. And we've been given, you know, the gift to move and the opportunity to fall in love, like not only with the workout, but with ourselves and with our fitness communities and all of life in general along the way. So thank you for listening. I'm excited to help promote a healthier and happier planet. So I'll pass the mic back to you, Sujith.
Thanks, Elisa. Love what you said about, you know, the heart of fitness being joy. And I'm sure there's some questions coming at the end of this talk for you. Kat, you're up next.
Hello. So my presentation is going to be a bit different. I don't have a PowerPoint, so you're all going to be forced to look at my face. But to start, I would like to acknowledge the Bejugal people that are the traditional custodians of the land that I'm on today. I would like to also pay my respects to elders, both past and present, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. So I'll just start by going a little bit into how I got into each sport I play. So the first sports team I joined was my school's basketball team in primary school. My dad used to be a baller, so I was kind of encouraged to start playing basketball by him. And my older sister also played basketball, and in a very younger sibling fashion, I wanted to do everything she did. So that also probably played a part in me joining the team as well. And when I started, I had to join the boys team because my school didn't have a girls team. And then I just kept playing until eventually a girls team was formed. And then when I got to middle school, I tried out for my school's badminton team. And most of my badminton skills just came from playing with my family. And I loved it so much. So when I got accepted into the badminton team, I was really excited. And then after that, I got into volleyball, which is by far my favorite and the one I'm probably going to be discussing the most. And I first started when one of my friends started watching this anime called Haikyuu, which is literally just about volleyball. And she encouraged us all to join our school volleyball team. And because I succumbed to peer pressure so easily, I said yes. And volleyball was kind of a love at first play sport for me, if that makes any sense. I dedicated so much time into practicing and I just couldn't get enough of it. So I don't know if anyone's noticed, but all of the sports I play are team sports. So I've obviously been able to learn a lot about teamwork, especially in volleyball. I've really been able to learn the importance of supporting others. One of my favorite things about volleyball is the attitudes that the players have to have. If even one player is in a bad mood, it can affect everyone else in the team. And I've been very fortunate to have only had team members that pick each other up when one player is down and are all very encouraging of each other to keep spirits high. And this encouragement from my teammates has also helped me learn to be okay with making mistakes and learning from them. Before playing volleyball, I had a tendency to be really embarrassed and apologetic to my teammates whenever I made a mistake. But the support and positivity I get from other players in volleyball has kind of helped me go from thinking, oh, I'm so mad that I did that and I'm the worst player ever, to kind of thinking it's okay that I did that. And I'm just going to try and fix what I did wrong there. It's really helped me embrace my mistakes because I've learned that I can't expect to do everything perfectly and mistakes will only help me grow. Which is a very useful lesson that I can apply to so many scenarios in my life, especially as I'm studying to become a social worker. This has also really helped develop my confidence. My confidence in school was like 0 to none. I was always doubting my ability to do things and felt like I was never good enough. But in being less afraid of making mistakes, I've learned to push aside my doubts and just be sure that I can kind of take any ball that comes to me, because especially in the sports I play, there's no room for doubt or hesitation because everything just happens so fast. I've also really struggled with my sense of belonging for a really long time. So just to give a little bit of context, and as Sujit said before, my dad is Australian and my mom is Malaysian, but I was born in Thailand and I lived there until I was 16. I'm not a citizen of Malaysia and Thailand, so I only have an Australian citizenship. And because of this, I don't feel qualified to call myself Thai or Malaysian because I guess I don't have the legal documents to prove it. But I also don't feel qualified to call myself Australian because I don't really relate or even know that much about Australian culture. I've always felt denied by these countries that I think I belong to, because when I introduce myself, I always get people telling me, oh, you don't look Thai or Malaysian, or you don't sound Australian, or even instances of other Asian people telling me I'm not even Asian, or Australians telling me that I'm too Asian to be white. And growing up, I was kind of the only person in my year that wasn't Thai. So I always kind of sensed a barrier that prevented me from really relating to my peers. I would get made fun of for being a white girl and constantly had Thai people tell me that I'm not even Thai, which really hurt because I felt like I related to Thai culture most, but I wasn't even being accepted by my Thai peers. And it was all honestly quite isolating and really limited my interactions with other people. So I really loved team sports because it was my only taste of knowing what it would feel like to actually belong somewhere, because I belonged in a team. And it didn't really matter like where I came from, because the rules of each sport are the same for anyone from any country. And it really helped me form a new kind of bond with people that I felt I couldn't relate to. And it was the one place where I never really felt any barriers between me and my peers, and the one place I felt I was accepted. Sports have also been really beneficial for my well-being. As Elisa mentioned before, exercise causes our bodies to release endorphins that make us feel happier. So as someone who hates fitness myself, I decided to opt out of push-ups and lunges and go the sports route instead to get my dose of endorphins. Like many other hobbies, participating in sports is one of the things that I do for myself. I don't do sports to please anyone but me. And it's just a great way for me to kind of put my worries aside for a period of time and really just focus on myself and have fun. And I think some people have a tendency to spend less time on themselves. Like, I'm guilty of this too. So I think taking time to take care of our own well-being is something to celebrate and be proud of, because it's something that's overlooked quite often for some people. And from someone who used to be very insecure, I truly think that taking the time to do something for myself has really improved my sense of self-worth, because I'm showing myself that I'm worthy of being loved and cared for, especially from myself. So I've spoken a lot about what I love about sports, but my experiences of sports hasn't always been great. There's kind of an ugly side to sports, I guess, especially in regards to being a woman and being seen as less capable or being sexualized quite a bit. So I'm just going to be speaking from my own experiences. So as I said before, my first basketball team was the boys team. And it was kind of like really uncomfortable and kind of sucked because, you know, I'm the only girl in this boys team. And I was like so tiny and afraid. And I was kind of being seen as like less capable than the boys. And I really started to internalize it, because I would sometimes feel bad for taking up like a boy spot in a game, because I would feel like I wasn't good enough to earn a spot on the court. Although I was one of the tallest people in the team, so I at least had that advantage going for me. I also noticed that when I played mixed doubles in badminton, boys on the other team would kind of aim their smashes more towards me. And I guess that like they assumed I would be bad at hitting those because I was a girl, but to their dismay, I was actually pretty good at those. So I've also had male coaches who have said they don't want to coach women again because we're all too emotional or too dramatic after being our coach for a year. And there's also been times where I've been catcalled in the middle of a game or approached after a game. But one thing in particular that's really bothered me is in regards to the standard volleyball uniform for women. When I first started playing volleyball, I always played in like pretty baggy shorts, and then slowly moved on to tighter shorts that were kind of like in the middle of my thigh, because my baggy shorts would start to fall quite a bit whenever I would like dive or move around. And then years later, I joined a new women's team that was I was forced to buy real volleyball shorts, which are shorts that basically show off your whole bum because they're so tight and like end right at the base of your bum. And I was honestly like really uncomfortable with wearing these shorts, because growing up, it was strongly discouraged for girls to wear anything that was too revealing, because then I would be a slut or improper or ugly. And this really made me like self-conscious about my body. And so I wasn't used to wearing shorts that were revealing. I didn't really see the point in me having to have these shorts because I was still playing at the same level no matter what I was wearing. And if you look at the men's uniform for volleyball, you can see that their shorts are much baggier and longer. So the type of shorts probably didn't have much of an impact on someone's ability to play, I'm assuming. And some of you have probably seen a similar situation this year during the Olympics with the Norwegian beach volleyball team, I think it was. But regardless, I still absolutely love sports, and I encourage anyone who's thinking about playing a sport to start because you might end up loving it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kat, for being so vulnerable and open with your experiences with sport. Many of you wouldn't know this, but you can hear, I live in the same building as Kat does, and you can hear her laugh from 3 floors down, and Kat's always laughing. So, just a little tidbit. Thank you. And next we have Douglas and Paul. So Doug, why don't you go first?
I'll do that. All right. Hi, everybody. My name is Doug. I do pole fitness. I've done it for about a little over a year. And I'm currently at level 4. I enjoy it because it's quite exciting. It's good for core. It's good for flexibility. It's a great full body workout. I'm not really a gym kind of guy. The thought of going to the gym for an hour is a chore. I just can't get through it. Whereas an hour of pole class, it goes by like that. And before I know it, the class is over, and I want to come back next week for it. Also, sometimes you actually you get to wear these, and also in between classes you can strut around your house in them as well, or if you're like me, you clump around your house. Let me show this. All right, so basically I got involved around June 2020. One of my close friends kind of just asked randomly, hey, do you want to give it a try with me? And I said, hey, why the hell not? Worst case scenario, I'll waste an hour of my life and I'll have a funny story. We went to the class. It was a lot of fun. We ended up signing up for the 10, so we ended up signing up for level 1, which is each level is 10 classes over the course, like 1 class a week. So basically we end up doing the 10 classes, and then I'm like, okay, I'm coming back for level 2, and then so on. Level 3 is actually when I kind of, there we go. Level 3 is when I actually hit my stride, and it actually got much more exciting and rewarding. Probably because also there was a much higher risk of danger because face planting and whatnot. But when you don't face plant, it's very rewarding. There we go. So yeah, a lot of the moves in level 3 were upside down. And when you're able to do them, the instructor will show you, and you kind of, you look at what he's showing you to do, and you're like, holy shit, I'm going to die. And then you do them, and you don't, and you're actually able to succeed at them. And it's quite a confidence boost. And so you can see that. Now these are level 4 photos. Also, as you can see, the higher the level, the less clothes. But that's really, it's only 2, so you can have more points of contact on the pole. Let's see. So yes, but I mean, I'm so happy that my friend actually asked, because it has been such a nice experience, and I'm actually going to try to go as far as I can. I mean, it goes up to level 9. I'm going to see if I can actually, I'm going to do it. It's been great for my confidence. again, if over a year ago, if you would have told me that I could do like, some of these moves, like level 4 is upside down and spinning. So if you had told me this over a year ago that I could do this, I would not have believed you. So basically it's kind of taught me that even though it looks really difficult, if I just with a little bit of like just patience and practice, I can get it, and you can actually achieve it. Also, I actually find it quite relaxing because when you're doing things like this, go back one. When you're doing things like that, you can't really, when you're doing things like that, you can't really think about anything else going on in your life. Because again, you're upside down. There's, you have 2 points of contact on the pole and physics, and that's the only thing holding you on. Are we not sharing the screen? Okay. So yes, basically, there's only 2 points of contact and physics going onto the screen. So you can't actually think about any everyday life. You can't think about your job because you have to focus on actually staying on the pole. And I'm afraid to hit the button now. So yes, I'm actually very glad I took the leap and actually went to the class. All right. Basically, also the thing I like about the pole, you can start at you can be any fitness level, any age. They work with you. It's a great community. It's very queer friendly. It's very body positive space. Everyone's incredibly friendly and encouraging. They really work with you. And I'm actually really glad I did it. The studios also have more than just pole fitness. Like the studio I go to has, exotic pole. It has lyrical pole. It has ballet, which I did for a couple of classes. There's floor routines. So it's not just pole fitness. So there's really something for everyone. And also they have, multiple locations around Sydney. That's you're up.
Okay. Thanks everyone. So my name is Paul. I'm a 30-something-year-old gay man. So I really struggled with sports growing up. So primary school, high school, and pretty much tried everything from soccer to cricket, and really didn't find my thing. And I think actually for the final years of high school, ended up doing mixed activities, which sent me to the movies most Thursdays. And so it was really only a couple of years ago that I actually got into swimming. And it was actually initially very independent. So it was mostly, by myself before or after work. And so there became a point where I really wanted to push myself and focus on fitness, but also just stroke correction as well. And it was kind of a missed opportunity in that, I kind of, missed that opportunity to do something I enjoyed with others. And so that was kind of the catalyst for me joining Wet Ones, which is an LGBTQ plus swim club in Sydney. It's actually one of the largest swim clubs in Australia. It's about 150 members. And I've been a member for the past 3 years. And so not only has it improved my fitness and helped with my stroke correction, but it's just also been, such a great opportunity to just connect with so many great people and social activities. Such a big part of the club. So there's been opportunities, around Mardi Gras. There's Wednesday night, dinners after the swim. I mean, obviously outside of COVID, such a great, a number of social activities in and around swimming. So brunches after the Saturday morning swims. So it was just kind of, such an incredible thing that I did. And one that I kind of, in hindsight, wish I did a lot earlier. And I think there was just so much fear around, my readiness and my ability. But, as with, all these kind of clubs and as many of the other panelists said, I mean, they're all just so inclusive and just so open, for all people of abilities. And so really with Wet Ones, I mean, there's so many opportunities for me to just push myself and get outside of my comfort zone. So, I participated in IGLA, which is the International Gay and Lesbian Aquatic Championships in Melbourne. And it's just really for everyone, all abilities. But it was just a lot to get up and race in front of a crowd. And then it was really last year with lockdown that actually, pools were closed and I was kind of lost as to what to do. And I decided to switch to ocean swimming. And it's just I actually started to enjoy it much more than pool swimming. And so most often at, Bondi, Coogee, Clovelly, kind of these remarkable beaches, so close to us. And I've been able to swim with dolphins, sharks, different sorts of rays, cuttlefish, gropers. It's just phenomenal out in the ocean, and it's just something I've really loved, and I guess just making the most of the opportunity that we had. And a big part of that was also yet another group. So still this sense of belonging and community was me joining Four Seasons swim group out of Bondi, and that was really kind of critical for me. Building confidence, surf skills. Because being able to swim in a pool is quite different to the ocean. Sighting, so being aware of where you are in the water, all those skills, all came about through that group with these kind of coach sessions. And once again, it was just opportunity to just meet more people, like-minded, similar interests, grab a coffee after the swim, and just helped so much during, middle part of last year. And I don't know how I became aware of the opportunity, but some part late last year, it was probably on social media, saw that Tamarama Surf Lifesaving Club were looking for members, and really didn't think twice. And it's probably been one of the most transformative things that I've done. And, I think really reflected this kind of change in my thinking. And I think Adam and others kind of alluded to it, but this kind of just fuck it attitude of just do it. That it's so easy to talk yourself out of things, find reasons not to do stuff. And it kind of reminds me of the Disney Pixar film Luca, where the lead character kind of just keeps telling himself silenzio Bruno, and kind of just silencing your doubts. And just going for it. So as I said, it's just been such a transformative experience for me. And initially, I think there was so much nervousness around, my ability, in surf lifesaving, all the different situations I might encounter, my ability, my comfort around CPR, first aid, rescues in all sorts of scenarios. And so I think there's a bit of anxiousness around that and just my confidence, but it's what really helped was just constantly reminding myself, and it's kind of well taught by others, by the chief training officer and others, was this idea that we really are a team, and all come with different strengths. And so my strength might be, I'm probably a relatively stronger swimmer than some other members of the patrol, so I might be most comfortable in the water with a tube, keeping the swimmers out of the rips, between the flags where they need to be. But others might be on the inflatable rescue boat, on the boards, might be assisting with CPR. And so I think it's important, those kind of reflections that, we all have different strengths, and it's about how, our output as a team. So that was a pretty tough kind of 9 weeks training course, the bronze medallion, and it was kind of made the most of not being able to do much else, and it was just tremendous opportunity to spend so much time with some great people, and I think really helped foster some great friendships, Tama is just, such an inclusive and progressive club. There's about 150 odd members, and it genuinely feels like a family. We've got so many different WhatsApp groups, and just being able to, as with some of the other groups, just so many people that are like-minded, similar interests. And it's really kind of spawned new interests that, I've gone into scuba diving, snorkeling, triathlons. So I started running, cycling, all these interests that I maybe didn't know I had, that I've really started actively pursuing. And the photo there is of me competing in the triathlon at Byron Bay. I went up with a few buddies, and it was just an awesome weekend. And Doug joined a little later after the race. But I mean, one of our informal groups, we've got this ocean swimming group at Tama is called the Tama Gropers, and it's just great because it's I think it's one of our favorite types of fish, and it's kind of I often see them swimming at Coogee and elsewhere, but they're all born. They're all the juveniles are females, and it's the dominant female that transitions into male, and I think it's just a reflection of our kind of family that we have, that is also inclusive, and it's just been really incredible to just be so comfortable with who I am, and to have others that are just so accepting. So I think kind of reflecting on probably one of the biggest kind of learnings or changes in thinking, but I think really the past couple of years, and particularly this last year or two with being so much more active with ocean swimming, surf lifesaving, has just been the importance of physical of activity for your physical and mental well-being. And I probably learned I'm probably more extroverted than I thought, that just, how important it's been to share these activities with others. Some of it, it's often about the, catching up for a cycle or a run, but then it's also, you often go for a coffee afterwards, lunch, brunch, whatever it is. I've just learned, how much I value those friendships and how important that aspect is to me. And I think, in terms of my relationship with Doug, that, just being able to pursue different interests, that, he's happy swinging around a pole. I love being out in the open water and just being supportive of one another, pursuing those interests. So I kind of leave it there, and happy to turn it back to you, Sajith.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. So many questions are coming in, so I'll just cut right to them. So first,
stop sharing screen. Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. First, we have a question for Adam. Thank you for sharing your story. You talked about how you tried to fit into the gay community by being physically fit. If I may ask, how did you come to discover, accept, and love yourself in the context of your family?
Okay. In terms of my family, I'm not quite sure how to answer this question, only because for me, in terms of my sexuality, if we're talking about my sexuality in relation to my family, it came up as a funny story that's probably not quite appropriate for this particular webinar, because sometimes my family can be a little bit racist. And so it's not quite appropriate for this, but it literally was just a slip of the tongue. And they've been very supportive of this whole process. And I'm very grateful to have such a supportive family. Unfortunately, on my dad's side, I don't actually talk to my dad, and I haven't spoken to my dad since like 1999. So I've only really had my mum and my mum's family, and they've been quite supportive of this.
Thank you. Next question's for Paul. Paul, awesome story. You enjoy swimming a lot, but as a lifeguard, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to stay attentive and not go into the water. Do you find that tantalizing?
So I'm a surf lifesaver, so it's volunteer and different level of skills. So we're fortunate that the patrols tend to be quite large, so it does give us a little bit of flexibility in terms of going off for swims or running to grab bite to eat or whatever. But there's different ways. So the big emphasis is on preventative measures to keep swimmers safe, and sometimes that means being in the water. And helping them, avoid the rips and stay between the flags.
Yes. Next question. How can I join these clubs and get involved? Are they accepting and suitable for all body sizes and swimming capabilities? I often feel super judged within the community for not being skinny or active enough. And this is a question for everyone. How can we, shall we get Kat to comment on that first?
I guess for me, I'd probably just say dive in, especially with what I've seen, and like right now I only play volleyball at the moment, and there's all kinds of people there and no one really cares like who you are, where you come from. They just care about volleyball. So people really only just care about the sport itself. And if you're like nervous about going to start, I find that having a friend helps. A lot of the sports I started, I had friends with me. But if not, generally I've found that people in the sports that I've joined at least have been really nice and accepting of everyone. They're just happy to be there to play sports. So yeah. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, thank you. Does anyone else wants to have a go?
I didn't know whether the pun was intended of just dive in. But I just say, I just add the wet ones. They, once we're kind of out of this mess and restrictions ease, they've got classes or sessions pretty much every day, and it's just open to all levels of ability. Some of the classes are less busy than others. It's just incredibly accessible, and a lot of the coaches are willing to help those interested outside of the regular sessions as well. So yeah, I just wouldn't hesitate.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to say anything? Elisa?
Yeah, as Kat mentioned, like it's the sport. People are welcoming. People are friendly. They're not going to judge you. Everyone in the fitness community is very friendly and just wants to see you, exercise and do it for yourself as well. So yeah, I would highly encourage you to start getting into fitness if you haven't already.
Thanks. And Adam and Doug, both of you do, dances that are unique and which not many men do, burlesque and pole. What do you have to say about, men who may be interested in joining these things, but are always hesitant because of, whatever's out there?
So what I would say is just get out there and do it. Give everything a go, because the last thing you're going to want to do is turn around and get to a point where you're unable to do something and go, I really wish I took an opportunity to do that. Like, live a life of no regrets. And I know that it's easier said than done. And sometimes our thoughts get the better of us, but you'll see that once you start, you'll really enjoy it. And the community is so welcoming.
Yeah, it's definitely just go for it. I'm so happy I took that leap and went for it. There are guys in the class. It's not just me and my, a friend. There are guys there. The instructors are guys. The instructors are girls. It's very inclusive. I'm just so happy that I did it. It's really been kind of life-changing.
So the next question we have is for
I was
those.
going to just add one more thing to that. But the other thing I would just say is, if you give it a go and you don't like it, you don't have to go back. That's the beauty of the whole thing, is that you give it a go, you don't like it, they don't know you from a bar of soap, so you can just go on and live your best life.
Thank you. For those of you who are engaged with sports, team sports, and so on, because fitness plays such an important role in your life, how has the lockdown impacted your ability to work out or train? And has that been isolating for you to not be able to do that? And has that affected your sense of loss of identity and belonging? Shall we start with Kat?
I can start if you want.
No, let's go with Kat, then we go to you.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I haven't worked out or done anything physical since this lockdown started. With volleyball, at least, I'm going to talk about volleyball again. It's you can still play it by yourself, like against a wall. But I don't have a volleyball. So yeah, I just haven't been doing much exercise. But I've found other hobbies to keep me going. I'm just excited for this lockdown to be over and to get back into it. But what you gonna do?
Thank you. What about Adam?
So there was a thing that says, I have a home gym. I bought some gym equipment so that I can have a home gym. And I don't actually, the dance studio offers Zoom-based dance classes, and I actually hate it. I hate it so much because I actually really enjoy just being with people and being surrounded by people and the energy that other people bring. And I don't necessarily think that Zoom offers that same level of engagement. So I hate it. I don't do any dancing. I just do the home gym stuff.
And did the rest of you have any comments to add on that? How has not being able to be physically fit affected you in lockdown?
I think there's still, even though everything's online, I've been following like those YouTube videos. If anyone does Chloe Ting's get a six-pack in 2 weeks or those kinds of things. I mean, I guess it's the best that we have. We just gotta, fingers crossed we can get out in October. But we can still make the best of it while we can.
Paul and Doug?
It's kind of interesting because it impacted Doug very differently to me, because I think indoor venues were kind of amongst the first to close, and so Doug lost Paul. But for many weeks, I was still able to get together in small groups and for ocean swimming and it was really only in the last couple of weeks when they limited to outdoor activities to your LGA or 5K from home that I wasn't able to go to the beaches. So kind of has impacted at different points in time, but I guess somehow you've just got to adapt and it's a bit of kind of radical acceptance that that there's a lot I can't do, but I can cycle, I can run, I can still get together. It was initially a buddy system and with another person, but now it's in groups of 5. So I guess it's just trying to adapt as best you can. But I mean, for me, it's been pretty important to stay active and I think it's helped a lot with kind of my sanity and just general mental well-being.
So Doug, this links to that and actually it's directed to you. Awesome story and very impressive, Doug. Do you have a pole to practice at home?
I don't. I did order one, but it won't be here till mid-October.
He bought the stage though.
It's a stage. I bought the stage. I have to get the pole later. But I did find a playground close to home where I can use the monkey bar support pole as a pole stand-in. It's not the best, but it's something.
Just a couple more questions. Adam, I know you've got class, so feel free to stay for as long as you can. So Elisa, apart from the science bit, is fitness also spiritual for you? Is it meditative?
Well, I think when you work out, it's the one time you can leave everything behind. Your mind goes empty. You're in the moment. It's the one time you can connect to and feel the most present, I guess. I guess meditative, I've done some yoga. I don't know if you guys have done yoga. I find it very relaxing. It's like meditation, but you're moving everything and everything's very painful. But it's, I think, probably yoga is the closest you can get to peaceful meditation. But I think in general, when you exercise, that's one time where you leave it all behind. You just go into the gym or you go into swimming or volleyball and you're in the moment. That's all you focus on. So I think it does have that spiritual element.
Awesome. Adam, and so you go first and then the rest of them can answer this. Would you say it's better to focus on your journey rather than the end results?
Definitely. For me personally, if I was to always look at the end result, I would just never be happy because I would just look at myself and be like, oh, there's always going to be something more that I can change. There's always going to be, I can always be a little bit more slimmer, or I could be a little bit more better, or I could have a lot more muscle than I normally have. And I think it's more important to be thinking about the journey that you have, because it's the journey that keeps you going. It's the journey, it's the fun, it's the excitement, it's the experience that makes you keep going. It's not, for me, it's not the end result, because otherwise I'd be a very, very unhappy man.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a response to that question? Would you say it's better to focus on your journey rather than the end results?
Yeah, so I was actually training for the Western Sydney Half Ironman, which is due to be held on this Sunday, and obviously postponed. But I was reflecting on it with a friend, and we're so pleased that we've had the opportunity to cycle and run together, whatever else. But just spending time together and friendship that's kind of strengthened and all that time together. That's incredibly valuable and probably worth more than the actual the event itself.
Yeah, definitely for Paul, you want to focus on the journey. Everything builds on top of each other, and you don't want to go too fast and too far, because your body needs to be conditioned. It needs to get used to it. The stuff in level 4, I would have never been able to do in level 1. And if I would have tried it, it probably would have been a bad result. So no, it's always the journey.
And Kat and Elisa, just quick responses.
I guess I was kind of just thinking that I feel like the journey never ends, kind of, because I feel like you're always learning and growing. You're never going to be perfect at anything. You're always improving, and yeah, so definitely the journey is great.
I agree. There's really no limit to fitness, and you also don't know what sport you'll be doing in like 2 years' time. You could be doing swimming now, but then 2 years you might find a liking for cycling. So you never know. It's just all about you enjoying it in the moment.
So when it comes to fitness, would you say it's mentally and physically better to join a group class or a team sport than trying to go at it alone, such as hitting the gym and home workout? So I think this person's coming at a point where they've not done anything and they're just eager to start, but they don't know where to begin.
I think it's always good to start with like group, or if you have some friends to exercise with, it's always very makes you feel more comfortable, I guess, when you start. And I think, when you go to the gym for the first time, you'll feel some level of intimidation, or I know at least I did, seeing huge buff guys, Adam, who wanted to look like a porn star, people like that, lifting all the heavy weights. So I think if you can start small, start with some friends, and then build up from there, it'll help a lot.
Just 2 final questions. What do you all do when you have the shitty days where everything just seems like it's too much and it's too exhausting?
I guess first. Honestly, I've just learned that it's okay to do nothing, and it's like I said before, it's okay to take time for yourself. Just don't force yourself to do anything if you're not feeling it, because it'll only just burn you out more.
My answer would be to actually go for a swim. That I because it can be really effective kind of channel change, and I think Elisa mentioned that kind of meditative kind of being able to forget whatever else may have got you down in the day and just kind of immerse yourself in the experience. So it's kind of slightly different approach.
And the final question is, it seems like a lot of you find it pretty easy to make friends. Is it really that easy to make friends through these events, or have you ever struggled to sort of join friend groups?
I'm just going to talk about team sports again. But I guess with team sports, you're kind of forced to talk to other people. So you're kind of forced to get to know each other. So in that way, it's pretty easy. And, I don't think anyone wants to hate their teammate. So everyone's trying to get along with each other anyways.
So just to wrap all of this up, do each of you have like a little, message that you just want to get out there? What is one thing that you want someone to get away with from this chat? Let's start with Paul and Doug, and then we move to Adam, and then Ken and Elisa.
Honestly, just go for it. Again, I'm so happy that I did Paul. I would have never thought of doing it. And this friend called and said, hey, you want to give it a try with me? And I'm like, I'm so happy I said yes. Because there was that voice that said, I don't know, it's a little bit out there. And no, I'm so happy I did it.
Yeah, I mean, my tip's probably much the same, but it's that, just fuck it kind of attitude of kind of silenzio Bruno, just silencing the doubts and just giving it a crack.
Adam?
Sorry, it was like, oh, it's my turn. So my takeaway message would just be, just go out there and do it. I don't want you to get to a point where you'll turn around and regret the fact that you didn't take a chance on something. And this doesn't just sit with sport or fitness or anything. This is about life. Just go out there and experience life to its fullest, because you'll only get one opportunity.
Kat?
I guess I kind of just agree with what everyone's already said. And if you're feeling a bit isolated, especially now, exercise with a friend, do something with a friend, even if it's not exercise, if that's not your thing.
Elisa?
I would say, do it for yourself. Don't do it for some like image of who you want to be. Do it because like you enjoy it. And a lot of people, I think, find exercise to be like not an escape, but like a way to like enhance like life in general. And never forget, exercise equals happy. Take that away from this talk.
Thank you. And just a reminder for those of you international students and you're here in Australia alone, there are ways for you to make friends, lots of online events happening. Look out for those. People are starved for affection at this point. So feel free to be brave and just step in and say hello. And you never know what surprises might be around the corner. I'd like to thank all our panelists and everyone for coming today. Please remember, support is always available. If you're a UNSW affiliate, don't hesitate to connect with the mental and sexual health services available through telehealth and on campus. And remember, you're beautiful, extraordinary, and worthy. Felicia, on to you.
Thanks so much, Sujit. Thanks a lot for coming today. I know we've run a little bit over time, but we just had such great panelists, and I really enjoyed, at least for one, listening to everyone speak today. And I'm glad that we spent that extra time getting to know everyone and listening to your, I guess, wise experiences.